What's going on, everybody? So in today's video, I'm going to be going over 7 different Dave Ramsey real estate investing strategies. So instead of you having to go through hours and hours of his YouTube channel, his radio show, his books and articles, I've basically done all that research and come up with a list of 7 different real estate investing strategies that you can use in your business. So be sure to watch all the way to tip number 7. And that being said, let's get into tip number 1. So tip number 1 is to not pay too much. I know that sounds obvious, but in real estate investing, as well as when you're purchasing your primary residence, as soon as you get some type of approval or as soon as you think you found a great deal, you can just build so much excitement and get so emotionally involved that you're not even taking into consideration the numbers. There's always going to be fixer-upper houses out there. Most of the time, they're way overpriced. What professional real estate investors do, as well as savvy home buyers, is that they'll look at like 50 or 100 different properties before purchasing one. Because when you're just getting started, it's very easy to just jump on the first deal that you see. In most cases, it's not even a deal. So be sure to look at like 50 to 100 properties before you purchase that first one. And you don't necessarily need to go to 50 or 100 houses. That could take a long time. You can look on Zillow, you can look on Redfin, get an idea for prices out there, maybe go to some open houses, go to some fixer-uppers, check out the neighborhood, different things like that. But overall, you want to have a good sense of prices. You want to get a good sense of what a good deal is, what a bad deal is, because the first deal I bought, I actually overpaid for. I got too emotionally invested. I had a pre-approval letter, and I bought basically one of the first places I saw, just because it was cheap. When in reality, I probably could have negotiated, $10,000 or even $20,000 off that price. So do your research and don't be in a rush when you're purchasing a house. And if you are in a rush, just make sure that you've already evaluated a lot of properties and you know the area. Tip number 2 is to start small, see how you like it, and then scale up from there. So with fix and flip properties, as an example, if you're new to real estate investing, you don't want to start with some massive project that needs like an addition and a complete gut renovation. You should start with a smaller project like a townhouse, a condo, or a small single family house that maybe just needs like a new kitchen, new bathrooms, windows, floors, things like that. If you have to get too creative with the real estate deal, it's probably not a good deal if you're just getting started as an investor. And the same is true with rental properties as well. If you want to get into rental property investing, start with a condo, start with a townhouse or a small single family house. Don't try to buy like a 20-unit apartment building as your first deal. Because unless you come from like a real estate background, that's going to be a lot to manage. There's probably going to be a lot of unexpected costs, and you just don't have that type of experience. And I'm not saying multifamily is bad. In fact, I want to put all my resources, all my funds into multifamily. However, you need to build up experience to get to that point. So maybe you buy, the single family, then you buy a 4-unit, then you buy a 10-unit, then you buy the 20-unit. But you shouldn't just start with the 20-unit unless you have a ton of resources and some background. Tip number 3 is to start local. So when you're investing in real estate, you can buy rental properties, like turnkey rental properties in different cities across the United States. However, you need to start local just to get a feel for the process. If you're purchasing properties that are in different states and in different cities really far away, it's going to be a lot harder to assess the values of the properties, the repairs needed, the management, everything like that. So start local and then you can expand once you get some experience. And like I've mentioned before in this video and other videos, there's a lot of investors that they start locally and then they build out their portfolios nationwide. If you're doing multifamily investing, there's oftentimes great deals in cities halfway across the country. However, you typically are not going to start with that type of deal. So start in your own backyard, get a sense for it, get a feel for it, and then expand from there. Tip number 4 is to buy the rental property with cash. And I don't even know if I necessarily agree with this principle. Like I said, Dave Ramsey's very conservative. He actually went bankrupt investing in real estate. So after he went bankrupt, he completely changed his strategies and really built up an empire. So he's very conservative. He doesn't want any type of loans or mortgages or anything like that. But obviously, if you purchase a property in cash, you don't have to worry about the mortgage. It's basically just the taxes, property management, things like that. And I know that's a lot easier said than done. Oh yeah, just buy the property in cash and rent it out. However, in every city, I'm in one of the highest, most expensive markets in the United States. And there are properties, they're like 1-bedroom condos that I can buy for like $20,000 or $30,000, within like a 20-minute drive of me. So every city, no matter how expensive, maybe if you live in San Francisco, there's an exception to that. However, in every city, there's going to be cheap properties that you can purchase for cash, do Section 8, get the guaranteed income, and you can start building your portfolio that way. Now, myself personally, I don't even use this strategy, but I'm just saying this is what Dave Ramsey does. And it could be a good strategy. It's kind of like the snowball effect. You get a couple of these going, and then, the rental income from those can pay for more, and maybe eventually you get into larger and larger buildings. Tip number 5 is to build up an emergency fund. So when you're investing in real estate, whether it's a rental property, your own property, your primary residence, or a fix and flip, there's going to be unexpected expenses. It's always going to cost a little bit more than you thought. You know, especially with fix and flips, they're always going to go like 10 or 20% over budget. With your primary residence, you might have different repairs that just come up. Maybe the hot water heater blows, maybe the furnace goes out, maybe the roof needs work. There's always something. So always have some type of emergency fund or reserves available. And there's really two ways of doing this. So number one would be the obvious, you know, save up your money as much as possible. You know, when you're purchasing a property, whether it's investment or your primary residence, set some money aside. Set like 6 months or even 12 months aside for different expenses. You can also, you know, if you don't have that much in savings, you can also extend your credit lines. So when you extend your credit lines, it's not necessarily meaning that you have to like spend money on that. It's just that you have that available. So if you have a credit card, which I'm sure you do, because who doesn't have a credit card? Or even if you have like a local bank that you've been working with for a while, you can ask them to extend your credit lines. You know, with a local bank, say, hey, I want a personal line of credit just in case anything unexpected comes up. And a lot of local banks, if you've been working with them for a while, will have like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 worth of credit lines that they can just give you that don't cost you anything, that you can use, you know, just as a, you know, last minute expense, you know, if you need to. And then with your credit card companies, you know, every 3 to 4 months, just call them up and ask them to double your credit limit or even triple your credit limit. If you've been a good paying customer and your credit's decent, they should have no issues doing that. In fact, some credit card companies just do that automatically. So be sure to do both of those, and you know, always keep some type of emergency fund when purchasing real estate. Tip number 6 is to get into real estate wholesaling. And this is actually what Dave Ramsey did once he went bankrupt. So after he was fixing and flipping houses, he had no money, no credit, no resources. So what he did to get back on his feet was he actually wholesaled real estate. So basically he would find properties for builders and developers and investors, and he would put the property under contract, and then he would sell the rights, he would assign the rights to the contract to these builders, to these developers and investors, and he would make a profit. And he didn't need any money, he didn't need any credit. All he needed was, you know, some marketing skills, you know, doing some direct mail or, you know, just finding these deals. And the great thing about wholesaling real estate is it's basically risk-free. Now, if you're putting an earnest money deposit down, which you should, of, you know, $500 to $1,000, technically you could be at risk for that if you were to back out of the contract. However, what you should put in your contracts, and I'm not a lawyer, so be sure to run any contract by a lawyer, but you can just say this contract is contingent upon buyer's partner's approval at any time before closing. So that basically gives you an out. Now, I'm not saying just to tie up contracts knowing that you can do that, but it gives you a little bit of peace of mind, you know, if you're writing an offer on a property. And the great thing about wholesaling real estate is once you learn how to generate leads, you know, there's going to be great leads that you can sell to other investors. You're going to come across great rental property leads. You're going to come across great fix and flip leads. In fact, right now, you know, I started from a wholesaling background. However, right now, you know, I just purchased a rental property, a 4-unit multifamily. I'm working on a rehab deal, pretty large and substantial rehab deal, and I also have a wholesale deal. So once you learn the art of just generating leads, generating off-market leads, you know, you can pretty much go any direction you want. So it's very important, you know, learn direct mail. You know, you can do cold calling to find these deals, even networking sometimes, and also things like online marketing with pay-per-click or SEO and different things like that. So wholesaling is a great way to get started in real estate investing, and it's a great way to just build out your, you know, foundation as a real estate investor and a real estate entrepreneur. Tip number 7 is to start real estate investing or being a real estate agent on a part-time basis first. Before you jump into it full time. Get like 5 or 10 deals under your belt, you know, build up some experience, build up some cash flow, build up some reserves before you jump into it full time. Because I remember like several years ago, you know, I had like 1 deal under contract, and I had like a part-time thing I was working, and I just quit that because I was like, oh, you know, I made it. I'm already going to get paid on this deal. However, a lot of times with rehabs, it can take easily, you know, 6 months to get paid on a deal. Wholesales, you know, it can just be like 30 days. But you should try to do like 3, 4, 5, 6 deals at least before you jump into real estate investing or being a real estate agent on a full-time basis. So thanks for watching this video on Dave Ramsey's real estate investing tips. And if you have any questions on real estate investing, just drop them in the comments below, and I will be sure to respond to your comments, get some free real estate coaching there. And thanks again for watching, and please like this video, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.